Hi everyone, it's Richard here, designer of Gunsmith, and today I'm bringing you an update on what we've been doing for the last couple of months. I've got a lot to show you today, and we're just going to dive straight in. I've loaded our custom default factory, and as you'll see, we've got Humvees, lots and lots of Humvees. So what we've been doing in the background and why we've been so quiet for a while is because we've been developing a huge system to make vehicles. Some of you may have seen some of the previews that we've had in the Discord, and we've been working on a modular system to create vehicles from the ground up through all their stages, using all the different processes that are in vehicle design and vehicle manufacturing. We've also been designing a system that allows us to change the vehicles on the fly, and all of these systems taking a while to create. This will help us greatly in the future, so when we make more vehicles and we have more components, we can basically customize them as much as we want. So as you can see, I'll start off here. Like, we've got camo Humvee for a jungle setting, more of a British camo, for woodland, or jungle. If there's another one that's a slightly different green. You can have police Humvee with lights, and we've got desert camo here. Maybe you want a first aid Humvee, like a medical response, etc. So we can have all of these different unique vehicles with the power customization. And that's the new system we've been working on for ages. And it's not just that, we've got loads of other stuff, tons of stuff to show. I'm just going to have a little quick deep dive. Now, this is one of our Humvees broken up into all of its component parts. So this Humvee here is literally all the parts that you can see in there, through the windows, the back parts, the wheels, the chassis, suspension, everything. It all breaks up into its component parts, as you can see here. We've added a significant amount of detail, but not so much that it's going to get really monotonous and boring to create the vehicle. So I've blown up the car, so you can see its engine block, its bonnet, the front of the car and its lights, the wheels, suspension, the doors, the chassis, all of that kind of stuff. And this has taken a long time to create, fit together with quite a fair bit of precision. So yeah, we're really happy with where it's going. We did want to drop this update this month in December as a kind of like Christmas gift to everyone, to say, hey, this is why we've been taking a little while for this next update. But there's a lot here, and the next update that we push out will be really large. But unfortunately, I think we're going to have to delay this until January, just because what we are creating here is really vast. But this will be another major change to the game. It will be a huge introduction, because we are going to have vehicles coming to Gunsmith in 2022, and what this means is we will be able to not just do Humvees, we'll be doing armoured cars, eventually we'll be doing tanks, and all sorts of amazing goodness will be coming. Now, I'm just going to show you a sneak preview of the different machines that we can use during that process, and I can trigger them all up just by pressing the U key. So I'm just going to do it here, and we're just going to see what happens. We've got fully animated machines now. We've been working on making our machines way higher quality, getting more detail in there, and actually getting some animations in now. We've also got some like robotics that will take place as well. Again, this is just a preview. We're going to be having these robotic arms place doors and wheels onto the car, and yeah, we're also going to be having like crane lifts as well here. We're going to have a process where we're going to belt together all of the production line, and it's going to be a much larger production line. So as you can see, in comparison to some of you that have played Gunsmith before, our production lines are usually this big, and there's no way it's suitable for vehicles. So we've had to go back and redesign everything. And as some of you will know, we've been working on another game called Junk Punk, and we said we were going to bring the belt system in from that, because when we came to design all of these things, we've decided that hey, having a new belt system is going to be really useful, and having all of this kind of stuff is it's just a bit too it's a bit too restrictive in order to make what we wanted to make in the future, and I'll explain why. So when you're going to be making these belts, they're going to be huge, and we wanted to allow freedom for players to create way more, way larger factories, and have an opportunity to have more freedom. And also, we always had a massive issue with performance, and unfortunately we have decided to take away the physical aspect from Gunsmith, and I know some of you might be disappointed to see that go, but we've had to have a hard discussion with ourselves, and we thought, okay, why for example do we have physics? And at the beginning, as many of you will know, all the way back in 2018, we wanted to have it so that we had individual bullets and all that kind of stuff, and although that was ambitious and it was great, it's just not something we could do technically, and we still are working on finding a solution for that, but it's not a solution I think we can do in any reasonable amount of time. So what we have done is come up with a solution that will mean you can almost have an unlimited amount of factory stuff going on with a very minimal amount of frame loss, and that's really what we wanted to do, because although people love playing Gunsmith, it's getting to the point where the factories get so large that our FPS is dying, and we don't want that anymore. So we solved two issues: the freedom to create massive factories, and also a massive performance increase for everyone. Now, how does this affect the game? Well, those of you that played previously will have seen that we usually plonk like these 2 meter belts down one by one, and sometimes we can click and drag. But they're a bit of a nightmare to line up, and it can get a bit monotonous to get rid of them all individually. Now, our new system is still in progress, and we're still working on this, because we still want to offer that precision that you have by placing the 2 meter belts. But in this instance, you can literally just click, drag, and click, drag, and your whole production line set up just like this. Now, obviously, this is still a work in progress. But there you go, much easier, much simpler, and also we're going to get a ton of performance increase from this. You'll see some things here that are still a bit janky, like these things right on the snap points, for example. They will like spin slightly, or you'll get these little things in the belts, but this is all just polish that we would like to be doing over the January period, and then pushing an update with this where it can snap a lot more. And what we want to do is also offer the ability to still have this precision, because we know that many of you like having this L shape here where it's just super precise and it's to the grid. So it's not to say that we're abandoning this and going for this squiggly line like kind of belt ability, but we totally understand that you don't all want to have this, so we're going to give you the freedom to line things up and go crazy with the belts, and really you can do whatever you want with precise and not precise. But what it will do is give you the freedom to have a whole new range of factories and dynamic ways you build things. You can bend stuff around, you can just have a whole lot more freedom, and we think it's going to be a ton of fun. So yeah, the physics are gone, but there's an awesome but to this, and that's that you get a ton more reliability, and you just get really a much smoother experience. Everything is locked on the belt, and it means that we can. What am I doing? Wrong thing. Yep, I know. It means that basically you can time things better. Things are going to be way smoother coming into machines. Everything's locked and on the grid. So when you do make items now, you can pretty much be assured you're not going to have any crazy amount of bunch up where things are going really badly and things are getting wild and you're losing things off the side of the belt. Although we did like that feature, we just realized that to take the game forward into this next era per se, we need to really so I'm just going to get myself some more resources so I can keep demonstrating. we need to really take this to the next level and sort out our belt system, which we think will be way better. So as you can see, now it all phases in properly, like one after the other, bang, 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 and this will really help with the production lines in the future. And it just means that you're not going to hopefully get these crazy overflows. Things should produce a lot better. The flow of items should be way easier, you know, to understand. And in general, it should really make things a lot cooler and better to play. And you should be able to see, for example, if I turn this one on, it'll follow the belts, and you know, you can curve and go over it once, and that's great. Now again, similarly, we've applied that same system to what we call the gigabelts. Now this is a really tight space, and I'm going to show you soon what we've done to solve that problem, but gigabelts will also have this same thing, and you'll be able to put vehicles on these belts. So they're huge belts, absolutely huge, and you'll be able to bend these and wind them in another type of factory that I'm going to show you soon. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. And yeah, eventually what will be happening with our vehicles is we're going to have this whole setup here where we're going to have our cars coming up, and we're going to have them being machined and placed onto certain items and being welded and bolted. But as you can see, anyone who's played Gunsmith before know that having all these animations and component parts is a massive step up from where we first began, and we're really trying to push it now to the next level. Also, as a result of getting rid of the physics, we've freed up so much performance that we've been able to add a whole other layer of like graphics fidelity to the game. I had to remove all sorts just to get the FPS as high as we could. So now we've got a lot more grace in what we can do. And just another thing before I switch over, we also, by having this feature, have the ability to stop stuff in production. We didn't have before. It would just keep going wild. So now, as you build things, you'll be able to just let it run its course. So you know, you don't necessarily have to have everything going down the belt and then it flies off the end and it's getting wild. Also, the hoover still works. You can still hoover stuff up, and you know, that whole system still is in play. So yeah, but hopefully down the line we'll be expecting people to be making these armies of cars. You'll be getting different orders for different types of Humvees. We've got a special Humvee that I'm not revealing here, but yeah, it should be really fun and awesome customizable experience. You'll be taking different orders from different agencies, as we already know. They'll be wanting different things and different cars to come out, and you'll have to fulfill those orders, and then they'll be going off to clients. But how are we going to do this? Because obviously this is a huge belt. It takes up most of this factory. Well, I'm just going to pause for a moment and skip over to our next location, which is another one coming new in the update, and I'll just discuss a bit more about that. Okay, so welcome to the desert. Here we are. This is something that we've got from a pack called Arid Mountains Landscape. A massive shout out to Vertex Interactive, because we saw this in the Epic Store and we just thought, wow, this would be an amazing addition to the game, and it's just way better than anything we can do landscape wise, so shout out to them. So what we've been doing over the last week is just retrofitting this into Gunsmith as well, because this was not game ready. So it was an incredibly detailed map, as you can see, and it looks amazing, but again, crushing performance. But we found a way to make this work really well with the game, and we've just taken back a few bits, and we've flattened out some of the landscape and just done some housekeeping, so it's actually ready and playable to go in game. Now this is a huge landscape, and this is the best way we felt we could get vehicles into the game. So as some of you will know, obviously we had our modular factories. You can build them, etc. Now setting up a factory is not quite ready in here yet, but as you can see the size of this Humvee, you've got this whole playable map here, and you saw the size of a Humvee in the last factory, and yeah, so you'll have plenty of space to make a huge vehicle factory here. We've basically modeled it off of the Tesla factory like size, so we expect you, with the new performance gains we've got and the new belt systems, you guys should be able to make like monolithic level vehicle factories in here that you'll have to have a few staff rooms, and you'll be making and creating for hours. And I imagine you guys are going to create some insane Humvee factories to begin with. But just to go back to what we were saying earlier about the vehicle lines and stuff, I'll just see, actually, can we place person? We can. So you'll be able to create some insane factories in here. And not only did we design the Humvee line with just the Humvee in mind, but we made them big enough so you can fit loads of vehicles onto those lines. So it doesn't just stop at the Humvee. We'll be able to be putting loads of different vehicles in the future down those lines. So that's where we're at. And thank you everyone for sticking with us. As you know, we've been working on another game to help grow the company and get us into a better position. And I just want to say a massive thank you, because I know it can sometimes be hard to understand where we're at as a business, but running a company is really tough. And I just want to say, just from a business owner and a game designer perspective, it's a super competitive marketplace, and we are doing our best to stay alive through this tough time, grow the company, and we totally understand that. In fact, there's 65,000 of you guys that have bought Gunsmith so far, or thereabouts, and it's a phenomenal success. And over time, it's grown into this monumental game, and we want to really make it fulfill its potential. That's taking us way longer than we anticipated, and we are going to deliver. We are still delivering, but it may take us a bit longer than we anticipated, because it's a learning process for us. When I first designed Gunsmith, I had so much ambition. Many of you will know my very first game that I made was like a Half-Life IP, a licensed Half-Life IP game, and to dive into that game for me was pretty crazy. And it's just the ambition that we have as a company to try and make amazing titles and big titles. It often is it's a lot, and it's something that we've learned over the years. I have to try and stop making these monumental games when we have a smaller business that take us ages to make. But it's something we're trying to address, but I think it's just the nature of the company and the nature of the designs that I make. I want to do something amazing and cool and big and awesome. So it's the nature of the beast. But I just want to say a big thank you for everyone's patience supporting us, and I hope many more updates to come for Gunsmith. And this vehicle update has taken us a particularly long time because it's something we wanted to address. We said we were going to do it. It's a modular system that we needed to make, and it is a huge amount of work to get this all working correctly. But this is another foundation brick into the long-awaited vehicles that I know people have wanted. And it will hopefully be the start of a whole new journey of vehicles coming into the game, and we're hoping that as we move forward, you will not only be able to make guns, you'll be able to make the vehicles, and we'll be able to make way more things with this new modular system. But I'll wrap it up here, and I'll just say we'll hopefully be bringing this update out in the new year, ideally January, sometime in January. I can't promise it will be, but it will be soon. I ideally don't want it to slip into February, but the idea is January. So if we're happy with the system, because there's a lot of changes coming, we need to change the tutorial. We're going to be having another look at how the game balances. We're going to be looking at belts, looking at research, looking at how vehicles are made and the difficulty of those, and how this all plays into the research system, all of that kind of stuff. And many changes coming, hopefully all for the best. I wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I'll see you soon, guys. All the best.